Hey everyone, Rick here, and folks, welcome back to another unit review for Battlefields of Mana. We are knee-deep in Mercenaries, and we've got another single-figure mercenary to review. So if this is your first review of Battlefields of Mana units and single figures, and you haven't seen any of the mercenary ones yet, you may be saying, well, what the hell is a mercenary? How does that differ from the other units? Well, a typical core unit of Regal Guard or Lunar Knights, you can have up to 4 of them in your army. Mercenaries, number 1, you have to earn the right to even include them in your army. And number 2, you can only include 1 of each of them in your army. So in this case, we're looking at the Executioner. Very cool figure. You can have only up to 1 of them in your army. And what did I mean by you had to earn the right to even use them? Well, mercenaries are special in that you can't just willy-nilly include them in your forces. You have to prove your worth. You have to prove that, you're worth their time. You have to beat them in battle. So what you do is you're like, well, I want to include mercenaries or executioners in my army in the future. All right. Find an opponent. They're going to put together an army of marauders and include the mercenary figure or unit that you wanted to include in your army in the future. In this case, an executioner. They'll add one of those to their marauder army. Then you have to play against them with your Lunar Knight or Regal Guard army and beat them. And then from then on, in all future battles, you can then include an executioner. Why may you want to include an executioner, folks? This is one of the coolest figures. Single figures like this, we've already looked at monsters. I'll just show you real quick, like an owl bear. You cannot include one of these owl bears in a unit of figures. It's its own thing. It moves around on its own. Single individual figures like this executioner, which just looks so cool, can either move around on their own, which is dangerous because they can be targeted by ranged attacks, or included in a unit of other figures, which is safer. They can't be singled out by ranged attacks. They can still be singled out by close combat attacks, but what an executioner does, first of all, he gets 3 attack dice. He doesn't have any combat strength modifiers. He does have an armor of 2, so only 3s or better can hit him. No defensive special abilities, no range. Movement is typical for infantry style figures, 4 inches, so he can move up to 4 and still fight, or forego combat that turn and move twice, up to 8 inches. Initiative bonus of +3, which is huge. A lot of infantry units only have an initiative bonus of like 2, for example. So including, and you always take the higher initiative if you have single figures in your unit. So number 1, he may boost your initiative bonus by adding him to a unit. But also, he has a health of 4, and he has the execute ability. What does execute do? Natural die rolls of 5 or 6 are automatic unblockable wounds. He has a 1 in 3 chance of doing an unblockable wound. And when you're rolling 3 dice, typically that means you should be doing 1 unblockable wound at least every single time he attacks. Now, how much does that kind of an ability cost? 2 points. Are you kidding me? Let's take a peek. Let's say that we had this unit of great swords, which is also a mercenary unit. Go check that video out. Right now it's being controlled by Marauders, hence the Marauders banner bearer. You want to include the executioner in the army, so you move one of these guys back and stick the executioner in there. Single figures are always put in the front rank. You can put them on either side of the banner bearer, but don't replace the banner bearer in the middle. Now, if you had enough single figures where the front 2 other spaces were full, you then start sticking single figures in the back ranks. But you can always move single figures around in a unit willy-nilly, depending on the situation. But you have an executioner in this army, in this unit of great swords. We looked at great swords already. Great swords have an initiative of 2. So already adding this executioner to this unit increases their initiative to +3. And now he gives that executability as well. So great swords were already 3 attack dice apiece. So think about this. 3, 6, 9 attacks. Now his executability doesn't go to them. You'll do his attacks separately, but these two will be doing basically 6 dice. They're all +1. He will be doing 3 dice of his own. They're not +1, but any 5s or 6s are automatic wounds. This, and again, their initiative bonus just went up for him being a part of it. And great swords cost 4. So if you wanted to include a Marauder Sergeant, Marauder Sergeants do boost your initiative as well up to a +5, but he would cost 2 to stick in that unit, and he does not have the executability like this Executioner does. So, I mean, it's just a fantastic figure. Again, he can be used on his own, attached to a unit. Now, he doesn't have a mounted pose, so he can't be attached to a mounted cavalry unit, but any infantry unit he absolutely can, making them a little bit more dangerous. Now, here is the main reason that he is so scary, because don't forget, you can single out single figures like him in close combat. But that also means he can single out close combat single figures of his opponent. So if this unit is going up against another unit with a unit commander or something in it, the Executioner can attack that unit commander and on 5s and 6s do auto wounds, potentially just killing him right then and there, executing him, if you will. So, yep, I just love it. All right, folks, that is it for the Executioner. Thank you again so much for watching. I do truly appreciate it, and until next time.